Bonsoir cette équipe, je vous présente Jim Sanders, un artiste peintre et sculpteur. Il nous fait visiter son chez lui.
Hello there, this is 12 Bear Road, where I live and work in Brighton. I'm going to show you the house just to help explain the work. Right, we're going to the studio, which is here on the right hand side. Right, this is the studio where it all happens. At the moment there's not an awful lot happening because I've just dripped a painting here. This is a technique that I use a lot. I let texture build up on canvases on the floor here. You'll see many layers, and then after projecting and drawing images onto them, I drip it on in a similar way to Jackson Pollock with gloss paint, so it absorbs into the canvas. So here's some examples. These ones are about 3 years old. This was when I first discovered the technique. So these would have come from drawings that are quite small, probably A5 drawings. And I draw constantly and then go through them and choose what I want to make paintings out of. This is the wall in which I usually paint on. So I usually clean my brush there, you can see all the texture. I've found recently a lot of work I do has when I've been using chalks and things, it actually has the texture of wood chip wallpaper, because I always lean on this wall which has been wood chipped. So it seems to come through to a lot of them, which gives them a feel of the 1970s, I suppose. This is another example of one of my pieces, which is a shrine. This used to be on the wall of the kitchen. It was there for 5 years. I've recently had it framed by a friend of mine who made a lovely job. So this, it built up naturally. A lot of it was things I find whilst walking around, and some objects I bought at car boot sales and jumble sales. I was always influenced heavily by my Catholic upbringing of altarpieces, so the ornamentation. So that's what led to these shrines being created. Here's a bit of sculpture. I made a series of dogs. This is one that I built with the same fellow who makes the frames, a friend called Tim Harbridge. This one, I came home one night and found it lying on the doorstep because he'd had to drop it off when I wasn't in, so I had to dismantle it to get it in. So we're going to rebuild that at some point. I'll show you the one that goes with it, which is in the bedroom, which is through here. Here's the bedroom, which is a nice relaxing space. This is sort of very good for getting some rest away from the artwork. So yeah, first and foremost, we'll go over here. This is the other dog. This is the third one I built. The first one was that one in pieces in there. The second one was very large. It was taller than this ceiling. It was about 3 metres high, which was built on a gallery roof. And that one at the moment is in the countryside. I gave it to an eccentric old lady who's just got it in the middle of a field now, so it's sort of rotting. It represents the church, which was carrying away and twisting the words, the teachings of Christ, which were all very good teachings, and it's how the church, the aggressor, used it to what's the word? To put the peoples down and control them and use them for their own means. Around the walls these are called the solitaires, which are a series of figures I've been working on and I'll carry on working on, which will be exhibited as a crowd. Which I want to exhibit them so you go into the place and you're outnumbered by them. On the back there's all poems. You go in and be greeted by all this writing, and would walk through this area of writing and then turn around to be confronted by this crowd of figures, which will be outnumber and intimidate you. They all sort of represent the basic emotions of humanity, the obsessions with sex, death, things that I've always thought of, and the fact that I think it's important that the work shouldn't change, that it should always show what people have always been obsessed with, rather than making things contemporary and or political of a moment. people's feelings will all stay the same from cave times to now, pretty much. So yeah, there's 17 of them so far, and I shall carry on making them. I'll keep producing drawings, so eventually there'll be a big crowd, like a massive warehouse with 100 or so, but might need a bit more time. So anyway, that's the bedroom. I'll show you downstairs. Here's some trousers drying on the radiator. Right, here's another shrine here, which will usually have a centre point, the crucifix, as I can't shake this Catholic influence. So that's the hallway. Here's the kitchen in here. There's a couple more shrines at the top. I've moved them all up there because I had a gathering recently, so they're to be protected. And there's some pictures for inspiration. Is the same dog. This is actually it's a cutout of the original screen print, but that, as you can see, made the sculptures upstairs. It came originally from a little drawing I did on a sandwich wrapper when I was on a train in Spain, and I've made many pieces now based on the dog, which is a contradictory symbol. I like it for the fact it's contradictory in it's a loyal companion but also an aggressor, so it gives mixed messages. This is one of the paintings that you would have seen the stencil on the stairs, the horse one that made these. I did a series of 8 based on this Greek girl who's my girlfriend. So I did these. They're all very aggressive. They all seem to have various animals attacking it. It was a difficult time. This one, there's another one underneath there. So there's a few of those dotted around somewhere. And then the final, actually no, there's depends if you want to film the toilet. This is this room's a sort of a lounge area which I never had before. This is also where I practice with the band. Here's some pieces, some works on paper that I did in collaboration with some children. I worked with these 2 boys, Apollo and Hermes, who were aged about, they must have been about 10 and 8 when we did these. So we work together. They do drawings, starting points, very basic, and then I take that as the composition and then work upon it and add detail, and then let them come back and add more as well. So they grew very organically. There was, I think it was a series of about 10 works, these ones. This is a piece I did in collaboration with a South African artist. This is a hula hoop. It's very useful. Yeah, this one we taped it to the kitchen floor and he stayed for a week, and we just let it grow. So when people came round, we let them draw on it. People spilt their tea on it. I had a dog at the time who's since been hit by a car, unfortunately, but the dog was weed on it. It sort of, it just, loads of things happened to it, and then at the end of the week we brought it together as a piece. So this is another of the totems. It's the devil, which is constructed of the 7 faces representing the 7 deadly sins. So there's a name for each devil for that. And in contrast, the Virgin Mary, but it's also based around the number 7. This is based on the 7 sorrows that were meant to have happened to her during her life. The main one being that she was apparently aware what would happen to her son. So that's illustrated in her womb. She's giving birth to Christ in the form which is most known for, which is on the cross. Here's the toilet. Some more work in here. There's more shrines. There's some more that have been growing. There's no place without work. There's some small pieces that I did a series on album covers, like by local bands. This is a symbol that I use illustrating arrogance and someone blowing their own trumpet. So there's a series of those. They're in the gallery in town. Yeah, this is one of the more recent shrines. So that's usually if I exhibit it, I'll have to get a frame made, and then I take pieces off and then move them onto the shrine. So that'll just keep evolving in its own way. There's another one. This one's got the skeleton of a fox that I found in a skip That's a photograph by a friend of mine. Here's some small pieces. And there's the toilet itself.